All right, Michael, so what is the first question?
Did it work like you thought? Did
it work like you thought? All right, you can go first, Nick.
Yes and no, kind of, because at first we had like way too high expectations of this, and like way too high expectations, like what professionals do, making people yell stuff in public, believe that they're not what they are, like animals and things, and then we had way too low expectations, like doing nothing at all because it was so difficult. But eventually we surpassed that and we got great results considering that we're all complete amateurs at this. So yeah, it worked.
All right, Michael, what are your thoughts?
I think that it did work like how we thought it would, basically. We did get everybody hypnotized and most people answered the questions afterwards about how it felt.
Yeah, I also thought that it actually did work because our main goal was to see if we could hypnotize somebody. And so then our hypothesis was if we'd be able to hypnotize people from a certain race, and we managed to do that. All right, so what's the second question?
What are the top 3 things that you've learned?
All right, well, for me, the first one is I learned how to become an amateur hypnotist. The second I learned is that it's actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. And then third is that it can be very dangerous sometimes, because I know that there's one of our people who did it, Tom, he fell out of his seat while he was trying to do it, and he could have gotten really hurt.
What are the top 3 things that you have learned? Basically, it's the same as first, that I learned how to be able to hypnotize people, how it's dangerous, and I guess that it's not that hard.
All right, Nick?
The 3 things I learned was like, 1, the power of the mind. Like, this all up here is a lot more complicated than you think. And I now realize that through like the power of hypnosis, but there are a lot of other things which I didn't realize that the brain can do before this starting out, that I learned through research. Secondly, it's a lot harder than you think. Like, you may think you can just be like, sleep, now hypnotized, but that's initially how I thought it worked. Like, this took a lot of time and patience and practice for me to like realize. And the third thing I learned was that it can be not how you expected it to be. Like, it's unexpected. You get different results every time, no matter who you do it with. Because like Tom fell out of his chair, and like Dean was way greater than I thought he would be. So it's always different and unexpected.
All right, Nick, were there any disappointments?
The only disappointment I would ever have is Tom, because he looked like he was doing good at first, but then he completely fell out of the chair. And I would really like to try Tom again. And then another disappointment would be just like, if we had a lot more time, we could do a lot more things.
All right, Dean?
I didn't have any disappointments at all.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, well, I just wish, like what Nick said, that we had more time to do it, and that we could be able to get deeper into it, because I know it would be a lot better idea. So, what would we like to do differently? Like what we said before, that we had more time, and we could be able to resolve and get more deep into the process of it, so we can become like intermediate hypnotists instead of just amateurs.
I wouldn't do anything differently so maybe the project worked well.
So, as you can see, what we would do differently is I would like to have a lot more space and a lot less, not to do this in a school, and a lot less background noise. Like before, we just had to edit out the clip probably, because some 3-4 kids went knocking up on the door.
Alright, so Nick, would you recommend this to anyone? Why or why not?
I would recommend this to practically anyone, but I mean, don't get disappointed if it doesn't work out at first, because it won't work out at first. And then don't get disappointed if after that you still aren't able to get it, because it's really tricky. And it takes a lot of time and effort. But if you can do it and you do put enough effort forth, it can become a really cool thing.
I also think that I would recommend it to people because it might take a lot of practice, but once you get through, it's really fun.
Yeah, well, I would. And, like, it's easy for anyone to do, but if you're amateur and if it does work, you need to be careful because it can be very dangerous. I mean, because people might not be able to snap out of it, or it could just be just terrible in general. We can have people who get hurt. Like with Tom, he actually did get hurt when he fell out because he landed in a weird position, and he didn't really know what happened. So, I mean, it can be for anyone, but you have to be very careful. All right, so that's about it.